Thank you for watching ECSO News, where facts matter. On ECSO News, we highlight positive things our deputies and citizens are doing in the community. Many acts of heroism and kindness go unnoticed. That's why each quarter we take a moment to recognize these achievements at our quarterly awards ceremony. Last week we had our award ceremony for the third and fourth quarters of 2016. This episode we will air the ceremony in its entirety. We hope you enjoy.
Welcome everybody to your Escambia County Sheriff's Office. It's always an honor to have you come down to your house, and I will tell you, these are the times that we look forward to. We get to see the bravery and the dedication of these young men and women every day. Many times the family and friends do not. Let me give you a great example. Yesterday afternoon, just about the time everybody was getting off and driving home, between 4 and 6 o'clock, we're in my office with two attorneys and both of my chief deputies on the phone with some officers that were on scene attempting to serve a warrant. In conjunction with the State Fire Marshal's office, a gentleman answered the door, with a gun, pointed the gun to his head, barricaded himself in the house, and then we have that situation to deal with. So again, that's something that these men and women contend with every day, and I think occasionally we need to remind ourselves that these dedicated professionals do the very job that many of us are not prepared to do. And so I can't tell you what an honor it is, in the right descriptive words, to tell you what it means to me to just be a part of this organization. And so today, again, welcome to your house, and it's my great honor to recognize those men and women today. I want to let everyone know that all of our award recipients today will also receive Congressional Merit Awards from Congressman Matt Gaetz's office. So please see our protocol officer, Miss Allison Rogers, after the ceremony to pick up those other certificates. And another note, our recipients of medals receive a certificate with the letter from me, the sheriff, to be placed also with your certificate. So we'll begin first by recognizing our recent promotions. So the following personnel are being recognized in this promotion cycle. By the way, the list is not all-inclusive. As you can well imagine, we have officers today that are on duty who could not be present for the ceremony, but those who are present. From Deputy Sheriff to Sergeant, Chad Brown, please come forward. From Deputy Sheriff to Sergeant, Jason Von Osbach Young. From Master Deputy to Sergeant, Leonard Tyree II. From Senior Deputy to Sergeant, Josh Taylor. From Lieutenant to First Lieutenant, Jeremy Small. From First Lieutenant to Captain, Mike Gilmore. From First Lieutenant to Captain, Tom Greer. From Sergeant to Major, David Ingram. From Sergeant to Major, Andrew Hobbs. From Lieutenant to Lieutenant Colonel, Ron Ross. From First Lieutenant to Colonel, Robert Quinata. And from Colonel to Commander, Mark Jackson. Our longevity awards for 20 years of continuous service, Peggy Fulmer and Master Deputy Tim Edmondson. I think Tim's at work, isn't he? I think so. Chief, you might want to get her a bill. So you were in that photo. Okay. All right. So. For 25 years of continuous service, First Lieutenant Carl Jones and Tracy Highfield. For 30 years of continuous service, Kathy Hogue. Kathy here? Kathy not here? Okay, moving right along. 35 years of continuous service, Lieutenant Mark Murphy, Lieutenant Tom O'Neill. Neither one of them are here? All right, thank you. All right, we'll move on to our Civilian Service Medal for Morgan Boutwell. Morgan, if you would stand right here. How about that? On July the 7th, 2016, Deputy Cynthia Palin and Deputy William Halford responded to a home on Sunburst Lane in reference to a drowning. Deputy Halford arrived first and advised the child was breathing. When Deputy Palin arrived, she made contact with 9-year-old Morgan Boutwell. Morgan's aunt advised that Morgan had just saved her son. Morgan was swimming in the pool alongside her 2-year-old cousin who was wearing a life vest. Morgan stated that when she turned around in the pool, she saw her cousin no longer wearing a vest and was floating face down in the water. She immediately swam over to him and lifted his head above the water and rushed him towards the ladder while screaming. Morgan's aunt immediately grabbed him, and he began crying but was very groggy. He was rushed inside their home, and while they waited for deputies and emergency personnel to arrive and check on him, after a short time, he was cleared medically. For her bravery in rushing to save her cousin without hesitation, Morgan Boutwell is awarded a Civilian Service Medal on this 23rd day of March, 2017. I think this next award will mean a lot to the community of Escambia County. We're honored today to also provide civilian service medals to Mitch Esser, David McDuff, and Randy Oxenham. Please come forward, gentlemen. On February the 6th, William Boyette and Mary Rice came into Escambia County and brought fear into our community after allegedly murdering a Beulah mother of two, Kayla Crocker. They committed this crime after allegedly murdering 2 women in Santa Rosa County and 1 in Baldwin County, Alabama. On February the 7th, William Boyette and Mary Rice's week-long crime spree was ended in Troup County, Georgia. Their capture was due in no small part to the exploitation of these suspects through the sharing of their photos on billboards across the Northwest Florida region, Alabama, and into Georgia. Lamar Advertising, and specifically account executive Mitch Esser, sales manager David McDuff, and general manager Randy Oxenham went above and beyond the call for help in the ECSO's pursuit of Boyette and Rice. Photos of Boyette and Rice were not only posted on our contracted billboards, but were also on all electronic billboards throughout the region that were donated by Lamar Advertising. They assured us they would do everything, including posting their photos throughout the nation if need be, to capture Mary Rice and William Boyette. For their cooperation in keeping the safety of our community a top priority, Randy Oxenham, Mitch Essner, and David McDuff are awarded the Civilian Service Medal on the 23rd day of March, 2017. Gentlemen, thank you so much. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I would also add that when our staff was in contact with the community while working this case, that volunteering of service was unprompted. These gentlemen from Lamar Advertising Agency asked what they could do to help in our community. Our next Civilian Service Medal is for Drew Spear. On August the 14th, 2016, Drew Spear was leaving Walmart on Mobile Highway when he discovered an adult male unconscious and lying on his back. The man had turned purple from lack of oxygen, and he did not have a pulse. Drew Spear, who has his American Red Cross CPR certification, began performing CPR on the man. After approximately 4 minutes of continuous CPR, Deputy Mel Pfeiffer arrived with an AED. Deputy Pfeiffer immediately applied the AED to the man. The two continued CPR until signs of life were detected. For his ability to act calmly and carefully in a tense situation and for saving this man's life, Drew Spear is awarded the Civilian Service Medal on the 23rd of March, 2017. Commendation Medal for Jessica Miller and Carla Kunert. On December the 23rd, 2016, ECSO dispatcher Jessica Miller was contacted by a woman inquiring about available Christmas charities. In speaking with the woman further, Rebecca learned that the woman was in need of financial assistance for her children for Christmas gifts. The original assistance she had applied to was not available to her. After receiving permission from her supervisor, Jessica, along with ECSO dispatcher Carla Kunert, put some money together to help this family in need. Jessica and Carla bought a mouth guard for the woman's 15-year-old son so he wouldn't keep biting his lip during wrestling matches, and pom-poms and crafts for her 7-year-old daughter, and diapers for infant Tylenol for her 1-year-old. Jessica Miller and Carla Kunert met with the woman and gave her gas money as well as the gifts for her children. There were some tears and there were some hugs exchanged, knowingly they could make Christmas happen for this family. For serving the community outside the scope of her daily duties as dispatcher, Carla Kunert and Jessica Miller are awarded a Commendation Medal on the 23rd day of March 2017. Life-saving medals for Deputy Matthew Keebler and Deputy Caleb Swoboda. On August the 15th, 2016, Deputy Matthew Keebler and Deputy Caleb Swoboda responded to a home on Hampton Road in reference to a shooting victim. An adult male was found to have a large wound in his left shin. Upon arrival and without hesitation, Deputies Keebler and Swoboda immediately provided first aid to the victim, applying a tourniquet and stopping the bleeding while awaiting EMS to arrive and transport the victim to the hospital. EMS arrived and advised that the prompt action taken by these deputies on scene were instrumental in preventing the victim from going into hypovolemic shock, a life-threatening condition which results from severe blood loss. Deputy Matthew Keebler and Deputy Caleb Swoboda's performance of duty in this matter reflects great credit upon themselves and the ECSO, and they are to be commended on with this life-saving medal on the 23rd day of March 2017 for a job well done. And Deputy Swoboda, please remain up here. Thank you. Did you get this photo?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
He's moved your back.
On December the 24th, 2016, the Escambia County Sheriff's Office received a report of a man down behind the Dollar Tree on Pensacola Boulevard. Deputy Grant McMullen and Deputy Caleb Swoboda responded and were on scene in under 4 minutes. Upon arrival, they found an adult male with no pulse, and he was not breathing. They began CPR and utilized the AED. After a period of time, EMS arrived and told Deputies McMullen and Swoboda to continue CPR. After 12 minutes on the scene, Deputies McMullen and Swoboda had revived the patient. EMS transported him to a local hospital where he recovered. For saving this man's life, Deputy Grant McMullen and Deputy Caleb Swoboda are awarded the life-saving medal on the 23rd day of March 2017. Thank you. If I'm ever in trouble, I want to make sure Deputy Swoboda is around. Life-saving medals for Senior Deputy Travis Peacock and Deputy Jerome Zaid. On December the 12th, 2016, Senior Deputy Travis Peacock and Deputy Jerome Zaid responded to Beck Lane Road in reference to a man in cardiac arrest. On scene, Deputy Peacock observed the man to be lying on the floor of his home, not breathing. Deputy Peacock quickly assessed the man, who at the time was not breathing and did not have a pulse. He then began to administer chest compressions while Deputy Zaid prepared the AED. Once connected to the AED, a no shock was advised. Deputy Peacock continued to administer chest compressions for several minutes until EMS arrived. While loading the man into the ambulance, Deputy Peacock continued the chest compressions. They were then advised by EMS that the man regained a pulse and was beginning to breathe. Deputy Zaid assisted with the landing of life flight. Due to the training and experience of these deputies, a man was able to regain consciousness. The efforts of Deputy Peacock and Deputy Zaid saved this man's life. Therefore, both deputies are awarded a life-saving medal on the 23rd of March, 2017. too young to move too quick. Life-saving medals to Deputy Stephen Shamlis and Deputy Darren Robinson. On July the 16th, 2016, Deputy Stephen Shamlis and Deputy Darren Robinson were patrolling the beach when they were advised by citizens of swimmers in distress. Both deputies located swimmers at walkover 26A in the Gulf caught in a rip current. Deputy Robinson immediately radioed for assistance while Deputy Shamlis entered the Gulf. Deputy Shamlis swam out into the rip current about 30 yards and began rescuing 2 female adults and 5 children, assisting them out of the current. Deputy Robinson entered the Gulf and swam out approximately 20 yards and brought 2 adult females and 5 children to the shore. There was an additional adult male in the rip current who was having difficulty staying afloat on a boogie board due to fatigue. Deputy Shamlis swam to this male and stayed with him until other emergency personnel could arrive and assist in getting this male to shore. The quick reaction and unselfish acts by these 2 deputies undoubtedly saved the lives that morning of a family from Houston, Texas. For this, Deputy Stephen Shamlis and Deputy Darren Robinson are awarded a life-saving medal on the 23rd day of March, 2017. Life-saving medals to Deputy Luke McCracken, Deputy Kevin Serrano, Deputy Corey Smith, and Senior Deputy Patrick Farr. There's also a medal for Deputy Anthony Medeiros, who could not be present today. On January the 8th, 2017, Deputy Sheriff Trainee Luke McCracken was working an unrelated disturbance in an apartment complex when he and his training officer, Senior Deputy Patrick Farr, observed an apartment engulfed in flame. Deputy Farr attempted to utilize his fire extinguisher to put out the fire. However, the flames were too intense. Deputy Sheriff McCracken began banging on doors and windows in an attempt to wake the residents inside who were unaware that there was a fire. A male resident jumped from the window and told deputies that his son was sleeping near a window. Several people formed a human pyramid and hoisted Deputy Sheriff McCracken to the second floor window. He used his flashlight to break the window and attempted to locate the child until the heat and smoke became unbearable. Firefighters arrived on scene and extinguished enough of the fire so that entry could be made. Deputy First Class Corey Smith and Deputy Anthony Medeiros assisted residents, getting them to safety from the second story, evacuated the adjacent apartments, and utilized the fire department equipment to extinguish the fire. The child that had been left in the residence was located and removed. Deputy Serrano immediately began CPR until EMS arrived. The child survived for several days, but later succumbed to his burn injuries. In all, 7 residents were saved from the burning home. The conduct of these officers extended above and beyond the call of duty. They all risked their lives and disregarded their own safety in the face of great danger in order to save several lives. Due to their quick thinking and heroic action, these deputies are awarded this life-saving medal on the 23rd day of March, 2017.
Way to go, Pat.
Today we award a Medal of Courage to Deputy Jacob Coate and Deputy Eric Alvarez. On July the 4th, 2016, Deputy Eric Alvarez and Deputy Jacob Coate were dispatched to Beulah Baptist Church for a suicide threat. Prior to their arrival, dispatch received information that the woman was in deep depression over the death of her husband and had recently purchased a handgun. Deputy Alvarez and Coate arrived on scene at Beulah Baptist Church Cemetery and discovered the woman sitting at the gravesite of her husband. Deputies approached her from behind, announcing their presence. She raised her hands, and when asked if she had any weapons, she stated that she did have something, then lowered her hands into her lap. Deputy Alvarez and Coate then observed her point a gun in the direction of her head. Deputy Alvarez deployed his taser, which incapacitated the woman. Deputy Alvarez was then able to disarm her. Both deputies provided medical care until EMS arrived. Deputy Eric Alvarez and Deputy Jacob Coate are awarded the Medal of Courage on this 23rd day of March 2017 for their sound judgment and quick actions which prevented a potential suicide. The singularly distinctive actions of these officers reflect great credit upon themselves, the profession of law enforcement, and the Escambia County Sheriff's Office. Gentlemen, thank you. Our Meritorious Service Medal to Sergeant James Barnes. From 2012 to 2016, as the agency's lead polygraph examiner before transferring to patrol, Sergeant James Barnes conducted 502 polygraph exams, worked 9 internal cases, and conducted 42 background investigations on new applicants. During some of the polygraph exams, Sergeant Barnes was able to identify and disqualify several individuals who had failed to disclose, accidentally or purposefully, undetected crimes they had committed. The crimes ranged from drug sales and drug abuse to sex crimes. Polygraph examinations are a time-consuming, complex task that are an invaluable tool in assisting the agency in determining the applicant's character and integrity for employment. As a polygraph examiner, Sergeant Barnes was instrumental in replacing outdated equipment to meet current professional standards. He also implemented a standard operating procedure for the exams which exceed professional standards. He became the only examiner in the region to become a nationally certified forensics examiner. For conducting complex investigations and polygraph exams and maintaining the agency's moral, ethical, and professional standards, Sergeant James Barnes is awarded a Meritorious Service Medal on this 23rd day of March, 2017. Our Law Enforcement Employee of the Third Quarter, Kim Mathis. Kim Mathis has worked for the Escambia County Sheriff's Office for nearly 20 years. In her current position as Administrative Supervisor in the ECSO's investigative section, Kim directly supervises 8 employees and is instrumental in keeping the unit running smoothly. She juggles daily tasks, including taking phone calls, working on reports and case files, filling out training requests, and making sure investigators have the supplies needed to do their job. While busy with her daily job duties, she is always willing to lend a hand. For her continued exceptional performance at the Escambia County Sheriff's Office, Kim Mathis is awarded our Law Enforcement Employee of the Quarter for the third quarter of 2016. Again, thank you. By the way, we're also proud to announce that Kim's son is also a recent joiner of the United States Air Force. He's currently serving on active duty. So, our Law Enforcement Employee for the fourth quarter and Law Enforcement Employee of the Year, Leilani Powell. On December the 12th, 2016, the ECSO began investigating the extensive use of stolen, counterfeit, and otherwise fraudulent credit cards and bank accounts. The nature of the investigation demanded that a substantial amount of physical evidence be collected, cataloged, and submitted. Over the course of multiple weeks, Leilani Powell proved vital to the process. She worked hand in hand with investigators to identify and document over 580 individual items, ranging from fraudulent credit cards to personal items to computer equipment. Her attention to detail and performance of this arduous task aided investigators and evidence employees by efficiently identifying and tagging the massive amount of evidence. Leilani did this in addition to the daily duties of her job. As the pawn coordinator for the ECSO, Leilani assists victims whose stolen items turn up in pawn shops in Escambia County. She has located stolen property on numerous occasions and has been a direct facilitator of victims getting their stolen property returned and perpetrators being arrested and prosecuted. The dedication Leilani Powell shows to thoroughly maintaining up-to-date records for pawn transactions assists not only the victims of Escambia County, but also victims throughout the state of Florida. For her dedication to the citizens she serves and this agency, Leilani Powell is awarded our Law Enforcement Employee of the fourth quarter and our Law Enforcement Employee of the Year for 2016. Our Meritorious Service Medal and also Law Enforcement of the Quarter and Law Enforcement Officer of the Year, Deputy Melissa Scruggs. thought I saw Melissa. There she is. I thought I saw you in the back there. So. During the course of 2016, Deputy Melissa Scruggs completed 313 warrant affidavits, and in the fourth quarter alone, Deputy Scruggs completed 57 warrant affidavits on her property crimes cases. In one case, Deputy Scruggs was tasked with investigating a rash of shootings into car windows and businesses. Through her diligent work, she discovered video security footage at a business which revealed a suspect vehicle. She created a bulletin and distributed it, which resulted in the suspects being located and arrested. They were charged for their crimes in more than 72 cases. In a case involving numerous pharmacy burglaries last year, Deputy Scruggs again obtained surveillance video that provided crucial evidence in a federal investigation. Deputy Scruggs discovered the method of operation of the suspects used in the burglaries was similar to that of other pharmacy burglaries in the region. Through sharing the information with the DEA, they were able to charge and arrest 2 suspects who would also be charged federally with local burglaries. For her dedication to the protection of Escambia County citizens and safeguarding their property, Deputy Melissa Scruggs is awarded a Meritorious Service Medal and is also named the Law Enforcement Officer for the fourth quarter of 2016 and our Law Enforcement Officer of the Year for 2016 on this 23rd day of March 2017. Melissa, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our formal portion of our presentations today. Again, we invite all of you to stay, enjoy some refreshments, and again, if you'd like to take some photos with your family, we encourage you to also do that. Again, welcome to your Escambia County Sheriff's Office. Thank you.